Hello, it's Plebman. This is your update on Wheel of Time, Season 2, Episode 4. And I got a new rig, but I haven't set it up yet. I was tempted to set it up, and I decided I didn't want to wait. So I'm doing this video. But it's still me with the beautiful stuff. I kind of want to show you, but just as a side note, my wife and I, we painted our bedroom. It was so awesome. I'm so excited. We're about to have a baby. I'm super stoked. All right. I hate this show, by the way. I hate this show. I hate Wheel of Time. If I'm going to just be over simple, and I'll stop talking about how much I hate it. Well, not really. But the thing is it feels to me as if the writers did not read at all the books. Like, they don't care about the book series at all. And that's upsetting because there's a lot of books and it's really involved. And to me, I feel like if you're going to write about a series, like, there's a book series that I love, and it's 3 books, now 4 books, 4.5 if you count a prequel, whatever. And I've read all of them at least 3-4 times. And I'm of the mind, I'm like, yeah, I want to write it because, like, I love it and I understand it. I care about these characters and I want the nuts and bolts of what it is that they're doing to, like, permeate. But it seems to me as if they didn't do that at all. They don't care at all. It feels as if the main female is just like, oh, yeah, this is my show now. And it's like, but it's not. Hold on, I'm trying to figure. Rosamund Pike, that's her name. It feels as if the show was made, and then it's like, oh, actually, the show is about Rosamund Pike, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm glad that you hired her because I think she's a good actress. I don't think she's the right casting at all. Most of her career, she's blonde. In this case, she's brunette. And I know it doesn't really matter. Actors can change their hair color. That's fine. But it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The whole show doesn't work. It's, like, objectively bad. Hey, Cyrus, get off. Stop it. Sorry, my dogs are being doo-doo-doos. All right, here, we're going to get into it. All right, so this is Season 2, Episode 4. All right. So I don't know, the bad guy is raising, it explains it later in the show. This is not how, the bad guy doesn't raise people. This is not how it works. This is total malarkey. Basically, the whole thing, they're making their own stuff, okay? And mind you, these are people who've never written a fantasy stuff. They've never done this stuff before. They haven't, I would argue that they probably have, all the writers haven't done changing from book to TV. So this is all new to them, and they're sucking, in my opinion. And unfortunately, they're doing this first time on something that's, like, super important. So if the writers from Lord of the Rings did this show, I would have faith. But I don't have any faith. I don't have any faith at all. And they've proven it time and time again. I mean, we're now here, Season 2, Episode 4, and they have failed 99% of the time. And it's just embarrassing. Okay. So anyways, getting past that. This, by the way, if you want, you could, like, start now, watch it, and I will kind of go through the stuff. I almost want to have, like, time bars of stuff, but whatever. Okay, the scene with Moraine. It didn't happen in the books. It's just, there's so much stuff that didn't happen in the books. And they've gone so far off the deep end with the stuff. All right. Oh, one thing I thought was fun is, like, we'll get to Rand and, like, he burned down the building with his magical powers, right? And then Celine is like, oh, yeah, well, we can... I hired some guys to rebuild the first floor, and they'll get it done in a week. And I'm like, That's impressive. I do construction. That's impressive. That's impressive. It would probably take a week to just take away all the debris. But she's like, no, a week. I'm like, I don't know how many guys you hired. I guess they're not union guys, or there's no building codes or whatever. But okay, fine. In all fairness, it's totally doable. It was just a silliness of like, okay. All right, and then we go to the tower, and then I just want to say there's like a little silly point throughout the entirety of the book series. Whenever women reference their dresses, and for some reason something struck in my head, and it was super silly, but they don't really mention dresses or even like admire them or anything like that. And I kind of liked it. It was annoying, but in a weird way, it was also kind of like a caricature of Elaine and Nynaeve, and yeah, and maybe it'll come in later, probably not. But I liked it, and I really admired the thought and the idea of that. Now maybe we're too fashion forward, and women wearing dresses is not in vogue. I mean, they do wear women dresses in the show, but I don't know. It just seems to me like there's this grandiose, like, we don't give a crap about this stuff. I wonder if this is better. Yeah, that's better. Cool, I'll do that. Oh, okay. So there's something I want to say about generally the women in the show. They're not feminist. What they are is 5th gen feminists. So they're not what you would consider traditionally feminist. They're 5th gen feminists, meaning they're kind of a pain in the butt, and they think that they can do everything that men can do. They don't need men. Basically, all of them are like the equivalent of Red Eye Sedai, and even that later in this episode, that's a lie. So this whole, at least this episode, but this whole show is just indicative of like, see, women are better than men. And that was kind of there in the books, but it was handled because there was a counterpoint. There was a point and a counterpoint. Anyways, I just thought it was interesting. All right, so we get to land. There's no sense of emergency. Like, just, oh, land's just hanging out. Whatever. All right, and then just a side note, if you're in nature and you need to pee as a dude or a girl, whatever, pee on a rock. Pee on a rock. Because the vitamins in your pee will stay on the rock and then freeze when the cold comes out, and then deer can lick it off and appreciate it. Whereas if they lick off the vitamins on a tree, it'll hurt the tree. They'll eat the bark. So, just a side note, if you're in the wilderness, pee away from the river, pee on a rock, that's good. If you're peeing in the back of your house, I don't really care, but just saying. Okay, whatever. And then there's this weird thing where there's like, oh, she took away the bond. And I'm like, no, I don't think Aes Sedai can take away bonds. I don't think that's ever happened before. It's not a real thing. They're making up this thing, hiding the bond, and then Moiraine hiding the bond for 6 months is like, what? And that, I know that's later in the episode, but like, just there's so much stuff that's just not part of the lore and arguably not really doable. And it's upsetting. It's like, she can't just take away the bond. This is not a no-fault divorce in California where you're like, we got married and then we didn't want to be married anymore, so we just got a divorce. This is a deep thing to bond someone with you permanently. It's a permanent thing. So this idea of like, it's just a marriage that just didn't work is lame and whatever. And then like, oh, hey, Moiraine's, we go to Moiraine. She's snooping around this room with her sister. And it's like, okay, why are you visiting your sister? It's been like 60 years. What the F? I don't understand. God, this is exhausting. I'm never doing this again, by the way. Holding it up like this, like, just exhausting. This is too long to do this. This is 20 minutes. I mean, not even. No, we're in barely 9 minutes. All right, anyways, whatever. All right, let's go quick, David. All right, so yeah, Moiraine visiting her sister, ridiculous, totally silly. Like, why would she do that? Didn't happen in the books. It's totally bullcrap. And then as we find out later, it's like, oh, her sister's done all these things and yada, yada, yada. And this is where Rand is. And I'm like, I don't care if this is where Rand is. Rand shouldn't be here. Everything you guys are doing is just trying. It's like, imagine a ship and then they go down a way and they're like, oh crap, we have holes in the ship now. And then they just plug in random things to try and patch the ship to just keep it afloat a little longer. And I'm like, dude, guys, just don't suck at your jobs. Read the books. Like, it's there. It'd be great. Like, honestly, if they kept with the books and just did one season per book, it would have been fine. It would have been great. And have, Guillermo del Toro or Peter Jackson, someone like that. Someone of high caliber who actually, like, gave a crap and was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to read this, understand this, and I'm going to plan it out, and I'm going to do it. But no, this is the opposite, and it's disgusting. Okay. She didn't move this guy. It didn't happen this way at all. Warrior's done so much things in the books. Yeah, this thing is like, they're making Moiraine the main character, and I don't like it. She's not the main character of the books. She is a strong supporting character who's missing for like 2 out of the 10 books, 12 books, whatever. She's missing and not really relevant. And for large segments of the books, she's got like a small role. So she is prevalent, especially in the beginning, but she's not the main component. The main component is Rand. And really it's Rand and Matt and Perrin. Matt and Perrin being like right up there next to Rand. And for some reason they're like, no, it's not. It's about women empowerment, so that's what we're doing. Okay, you guys are wrong, but fine. Then we go to the tower. Dialogue is lame, as per usual. Indoor training, so dumb. Like, why do you have sand indoors? Like, in this weird room that doesn't even make sense. Ugh, I hate this so much. It doesn't make sense. And the dialogue's bad. And then we get to the Red Sister, and she's, like, overstepping, clearly. Then there's this, like, weird conversation where the Red Sister is talking to the Keeper, who's just underneath the Amberlin seat. And there's this weird conversation where I'm like, if I was the Keeper, I would have penalized you, like, real quick. Because why are you here? You shouldn't have been allowed here. This is so weird. And for some reason, they just, like, pretend that, oh, yeah, any sister can just come and, like, bother. It's like, oh, any senator can just go in the president's office and be like, hey, actually, I think you're doing this wrong. They're like, oh, well, okay, thanks. And that's the conversation. It's so dumb and so not how it would go. And by the way, the ambulance seat would be in the tower. I don't know where she is. I don't know if the actress had some other thing to do. It's so weird. Now we get back to Perrin with his wolf brother. I'm going to say something racist. I'm annoyed that the implication is that black people convert into wolves, which is not totally in the show, obviously. But it's coincidental that Perrin's black and Elias is black. And then they're the only people we've seen who are connected to wolf people. Whereas, frankly, Perrin was white in the show, and Elias was white. Sorry, not in the show. In the book series. And Elias was white in the show. Which I guess would infer the other way. But, like, I feel like if you're doing it one way, where Perrin's black and he shouldn't be, and his backstory's wrong, then at least Elias can be white. But no, they're not doing that. And they've also made no reference to Elias being a warder. Maybe they'll reference it later, but, like, why are they doing this so weird? And I hate it. All right. And then Matt and Min are together. Blah, blah, blah. I hate this. It's so weird. Just like Matt's there just to be there. And Min's like, oh, I need to meet with some people. And we find out later. And I hate why we find out later. Whatever. The tower. Nynaeve is being emotional. She's not angry, which is weird. Because Nynaeve would normally revert to anger. And it's just a waste of time. And she wasn't there for years. I understand there's a time dilation, but, like, Jesus Christ. It wasn't years. It was a stench of... a stitch of time, maybe a week or two, but and it was like an hour in our universe, but years is ridiculous and it's so stupid. Okay, there's this big issue that I have, and I understand maybe it'll be a big reveal later, but the evil red chick, Red Aes Sedai, says some lie. She basically infers that, like, oh, well, the oaths don't say you can't lie to yourself. And I'm like, well, okay, actually it says to speak no word that is not true. So in a way, when she's lying to herself, that's fine. I get it. That's fine. But it just annoys me that the show hasn't really articulated what the oaths are. They keep dancing around it and not specifying what they are or reiterating what they are. And it's so annoying. I'm like, okay, it makes me think that the writers don't care or didn't read the books, so I don't know. I don't know what to say. And then it's fascinating and bullcrap to me that this red evil chick, like, she had a guy that she dated, probably married, had a kid with him. Interestingly enough, doesn't mention the dude at all, but she mentions her son. And I'm like, okay, that just seems like a big lie to me, but it's not in the books, so I don't know why. Then there's this other thing where it's like the red says a thing, and I'm pretty sure it was in the books, so I'll grant that. But it's just kind of weird to me because, like, the red, sorry, her name's like, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And she says, like, oh, this very specific, like, oh, these bad people over in the West, they got Perrin and Elaine, which she didn't specifically say that, but like a blacksmith and this. And I'm like, that's not how news would travel. That's not how that would work. That's not realistic. It's like these people don't know how news would travel back then, or even now. That's not how that would go now either. So it's like weird. And of course, Nynaeve's just like, I'm just gonna go on to Falm. Sorry, I do want to confess that every time I was reading the books, I've read the books a couple times now. Every time, Falm I read as Flame. Every time. I can't justify it. I'm so sorry, but I will say this, and I read this. I thought it was hilarious, in the sense of, if somebody mispronounces something from a book series, it almost looks like I came out of the shower in certain situations. Anyways, if somebody mispronounces something, it's probably because they actually read the book, versus people who watch or do the audiobook or watch the series where they got the correct pronunciation, or they're very good at pronunciation and they, whatever. So I'm embarrassed that I always read it as Flame. That's all I read it. Anyways, so Nynaeve's going to Falm, and then she talks Egwene into it. Or not talks, but like we're all gonna go together. And then, of course, the red evil chick like uses her magic powers and against them and flings them up against the thing. And I don't have it right now, but I'll do it next episode. But I'm pretty sure the other two laws, one of them is you can't use your magic powers as someone who is not, like, you can't use your magic unless the person is a dark friend. Well, this show is riddled with them using it against people who are not dark friends. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misunderstood something. Maybe it's also dark friends or your own self-defense. So, maybe there's that. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But it was a little fuzzy-wuzzy. Okay, then we're back to Min and Matt, and I'm just hating this because it's not true for either of them. So everything they have in here is total bullcrap. But Min never really like actually wanted to get rid of her visions, and then I did like how Ishamael, this bad guy, shows up. I thought that was super cool. I was like, cool, bravo. All right, and then we go back to Rand, and then suddenly this evil villain shows up, and he just zips him with magic. Like, real quick, no problem. Doesn't draw a sword, barely. Like, just real easy solution. I'm like, this is the second book? No, you don't know what you're talking about. Wrong! Anyways, whatever. And then it's weird dialogue between him and Celine. And then it kind of makes sense. But I also just hate Rand being here with Celine this way because it was so much better in the books. The way it was done, and it was very subtle and sparsed out, and it was nothing like this. And it's just... it's hard to hate something that's just wrong because you're like, but you're wrong. Like the breakdancer at the Olympics is like, look, you're not bad. Objectively, if you're in a small town in like the 90s or the 2000s, fine. But like breakdancing has moved on. And this is how I feel about this whole show. Is like, I can admire that you're doing a thing and all the people working on it and like bravo. And they are putting in a good work. But I just hate that nobody did their homework, it seems. Like, nobody seems to have read it, or if they did, nobody's like, hey, maybe we should make it something more on point. They're like, it seems to be like, no, we're just going to make it all about feminism, female empowerment. And then we go to Lan, again, more the no connection, and with these weird people and like weird gay stuff. I just don't know why we're doing all that. And supposedly there's this prophecy about how Lanfear is born that he just has in his like thing. That I'm like, that's not a thing. There wasn't a prophecy about this. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You're just making all this up. Okay, but Lanfear is birthed, which is not a thing. So, and then of course, Rand and Celine are about to have sexy time. And then, just before that happens, Moraine shows up, saves the day, and just kills Celine, stabs her in the back, and then slices her neck. And it's like, hey, we gotta leave! And I'm like, that didn't happen either. That wouldn't have happened. That's just... like, oh, she's actually one of the Forsaken. And I'm like, so now the Forsaken can just heal wounds, apparently. Which is weird, because I don't remember reading that in the books. Maybe it was there, but... I don't know. You're making them seem like they're... yeah. Anyways, I hate the show. I'm looking forward to getting through the rest of this. And then I have season 3 to contend with. But, yeah. I love you all. I got a kid on the way, so this is going to keep my cholesterol up for sure. Love you. Plaidman out. Bye-bye.